You know that 1,000 years ago, salt was worth its weight in gold. Why? Because it had so much value for our body. Not so much. It is essential for our survival. We are electromagnetic frequency beings. And so we need this salt water, this medium, in order for the energy to run through us and to be able to be, to spark. So if you're not having enough salt, you're not giving your body the medium in which to fire and thrive.
Thank you for joining us for another awesome episode of Bioenergetics Beat. I'm Heather Gray, a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and certified bioenergetic practitioner. And this episode is brought to you today by Nikki, Unleash the Wellness Within. It's a highly affordable, non-invasive, highly effective approach to optimize your wellness. It's a wearable device that puts frequency better based life in your hands and on your wrists. Make sure to stick to the very, very end because we have a giveaway. You're not going to want to miss out. But you're not going to want to miss out on one word my next guest has to say because she's incredible. I know her personally. We sat together through a biohacking conference and I just fell in love with her and her product. And I can't wait for you all to fall in love with her as well. Let's welcome Samantha to the show.
Thank you,
Now,
Heather.
first off, you'll notice that Samantha talks kind of funny. So, Samantha, where are you joining us from?
I am on the very, very southern tippy tip of Africa, in Cape Town.
Oh, very cool. Ooh, I want to come visit you.
Yes, please, please, please. Everybody out there, if you have not been to South Africa, do yourselves a favor. It is such a special place. It is so beautiful and
Aw.
so funky, so vibey. Like, really, you will have the best holiday ever.
Oh my gosh,
Promise.
that's exciting. Now, I just got my passport, so I was just like, the wheels were turning. I'm like, ooh, I can come visit you.
And it's
Sorry.
9:30 at night, so
Oh, okay.
6 to 8 hours ahead of you guys.
Almost bedtime. So yeah, I would love to give us a little background on, how you got started in this kind of passion for salt and, why we're talking about this today. Give us a little insight on you.
Okay. So, I mean, I have a really wild and diverse background. Yeah, I did interior refurbishing of corporate jets. I started an NGO taking drumming expeditions out to an uninhabited island. I then had a project called 20,000 Drums, transformation through celebration. We workshopped 30,000 rural kids around the country, which was awesome. And then I fell pregnant with my beautiful son, and I introduced a colleague to the father of my child, and he had access to this beautiful salt from the Kalahari Desert of Southern Africa, which reaches over the northern part of South Africa, Botswana, Namibia. And so I helped him export it to Denmark for a couple of years. And then I had to leave there. I went and lived there and I had to leave really fast. I left with a note on the table and don't phone me, I'll phone you, kind of thing, with my little toddler underneath my arm. And I got back and I pretty much, single mom, had to get my shit together. And so I started this brand. It is called ORYX. Most Americans call it ORYX, but it is ORYX Desert Salt. And the reason
I
why it's
have
called
mine too. Look, we're twinsies. I love it.
So many years before, I'd done a 5-month journey in a country called Namibia, which is the west coast of Africa. And I ended up walking 120 kilometers, which is 75 miles. I must remember I'm speaking to US audience. 75 miles, 7 days through the Namib Desert. And
Woo.
I had encounters with these magnificent creatures. I actually have a beautiful, my son gave this to me for one of my birthdays. Okay, zoom, and that's
There you
always
go.
weird.
Yep. No, that's beautiful.
These beautiful creatures, and literally they have a heart. Oops, that away. They have a heart on the top of their heads.
Oh,
And I was sitting on a sand dune, and these two oryx ran through the desert, and then I lost them. They went behind a sand dune, and then they ended up running literally up the path, and they skidded to a stop because I was in the way. I happened to have a big umbrella over me. I mean, they were a bit confused because what is this thing? And I was like, oh my goodness, what do I do now? And then they ran off as friends. And so many years later, when I had the opportunity, and this beautiful salt comes from this magnificent place. It's desert. From the closest town, which is 175 miles away, for 2.5 hours drive, there's absolutely nothing but sand and sky. And then you reach this 5,000 hectare salt pan, and that's where we harvest. So from the Kalahari, these beautiful creatures are endemic, and I actually discovered a mind-blowing fact that they can go their whole lives without drinking water, but they can't go weeks without licking salt. So it is so essential because of the minerals and trace elements. And what is salt's number one function to the body? It helps you stay hydrated. So they need the salt and the minerals to stay hydrated in the desert. But actually, their hair is hygroscopic, which means it absorbs moisture and dew from the desert night, from the air and the dew in the night, and they hydrate hypodermically. I mean, hello, is that not incredible?
That is
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
That is
And I
absolutely
only I only discovered that after I chose it as the logo, so it was like it just felt very serendipitous.
okay. Just kept getting deeper and deeper. Salt gets a bad rap, and not all salt is created equal. So I'd love for you to tell us a little bit on why your salt is different.
Awesome. So, yes, table salt should get a bad rap because it's not salt. It looks like salt, it tastes like salt, but it's actually industrial salt. So, in the 1910s, so PVC, this isn't actually PVC, but PVC plastic. C stands for chloride. So they needed salt in vast volumes, and so it had to flow freely. So they put a bunch of chemicals into it so that it didn't absorb moisture, but that's what salt's supposed to do. And then some ignoramus decided to put it into a bottle and call it table salt. But actually, if you look at the ingredients, it's not just salt, it's salt and one or two or three other anti-caking free flow chemicals. And did you know, because those taste bitter, they then go and put dextrose in, which is sugar, into your salt so that it kind of balances out. And if you were to leave it on a saucer, like kind of in rainy weather, it wouldn't absorb moisture but continually stay dry. So it doesn't allow your body to stay properly hydrated.
Oh, it
So
actually
this,
does the opposite. It will dehydrate you.
yes,
Oh my
and
gosh.
it creates havoc because it's got no minerals and trace elements left. They call it impurities, and they take out the minerals and the trace elements. They heat it up to, I think, 1200 degrees Fahrenheit. Sometimes they bleach it because they want it pure and white and looking pretty. So it looks, yeah, it's not really salt. So our salt, this beautiful desert salt, it is not sea salt, so it is not sourced from the oceans, is sourced from this region, which is 1.5 times the size of Texas, to give you a sense of scale.
Wow.
And literally for 2.5 hours drive, there isn't anything. And they discovered underground a 55 million ton salt lake. And the lake is fed by 3 subterranean streams. So the lake, or an aquifer, is the sort of official term. And there are a few incredible miracles. One is that when we pour up that salt water onto the salt pan, it has not been touched by human hands because it comes from deep underneath the continent. And 2 is that it's oversaturated. So it would be like having 2 glasses, and the one has got so much salt that there's always salt in the bottom and it can't dissolve anymore. Whereas another glass would just have a tablespoon or even 2. But if you can keep putting in salt and it can keep dissolving, then it's not saturated. And because ours is saturated, it means that in summer at 120 degrees Fahrenheit, it crystallizes in 4 weeks. And what else happens in 4 weeks? We have a whole lunar cycle. So it goes through a full moon, it goes through a dark moon, under the stars, the hot African sun, and the desert wind. and it crystallizes in 4 weeks, which is a whole phenomenon in itself. And we don't add anything, we don't take anything away. It is just pure, beautiful, magical, elemental desert salt bottled, ready for you.
So the fact that it does that every 4 weeks, that makes it pretty dang sustainable. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're not gonna run out.
We're not, because there are these 3 subterranean streams that are constantly replenishing and renewing this underground salt lake. And then when there's rain in the rainy season, that filters down into the aquifer as well. So yes, it is a renewable and a sustainable source, which is
That's incredible.
very
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we're going to pause real quick. When we come back, I actually want to talk about the benefits of salt to the body. I want to talk about why your packaging is different than everybody else's, because I know you guys go above and beyond making sure that you're doing things correctly, because salt these days is getting a really bad rap with having high levels of lead, high levels of microplastics, high levels of you name it, you know. So you guys are doing things right. So much so that I'm going through a divorce, and that was one of the things I was like, you can't take the salt shakers. Like those are mine. Like, no, you got to go get your own. Here's my affiliate link. But no, you have these. So I won you in my divorce. This is how much I love your salt. But
hilarious.
anywho, stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, I wanted to tell you a little bit about my favorite and probably my most impactful frequency that I use on the Nikki. If you've never seen this before, it looks like a little watch, but it's actually a frequency device with a bunch of different frequencies. It's bioenergetic, so it has this little frequency light situation that goes into your arm, and it pretty much makes an immediate difference. But my personal favorite frequency is the insomnia one. If you know me, you know I don't sleep at night. I'm known for like those middle of the night texts and random thoughts, and I have been that way my whole life, not just since I got sick with tick-borne illness. But the Nikki nighttime and or insomnia frequency is basically programmed to work with your body's natural resources to get you to go to sleep and get you set for nighttime. It helps with cellular repair and detoxification overnight, which is super, super important for everyone, but especially with people with Lyme and tick-borne illness like me. So I just wanted to kind of demystify it and share a little bit about it. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Bye.
Nikki Wellness Technology. Delivering frequency enhanced health. We are Nikki.com.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us. Oh my gosh, having so much fun. So yeah, tell us a little bit, why is salt so important? And like I said, I know yours has got, it's not stripped of the minerals, you know, but why is that a big deal? You know, so kind of dive deeper into why we need salt.
So, well, salt is sacred because it's in our tears and it's in our blood. We are 70% saline, salty solution. If you lick your tears or you cut your finger. And our sweat. So, if you jog on a hot summer's day with a black t-shirt, I don't jog, so I won't do that. You end up with that white line or kind of on your back. And that are the minerals and the salt that is leaching out of your body. And so you need to replace that constantly. And in order to do that, you need an unrefined, unprocessed, mineral-rich salt. And when you are pregnant, for any of you who might be, carrying a little beautiful new human in your bodies, your blood volume increases by 40%.
Wow.
And the miracle is that women's taste buds lose their taste for salt because you need so much more salt in order to help your body increase the blood volume. You also then, of course, need it for breastfeeding because suddenly you're producing all of this milk and this, liquid. And so you need the salt for that too. Plus, of course, the amniotic fluid would be this beautiful, salty, perfect bath. So if any of your friends or families or sisters, just let them know that eating salt is absolutely essential. So it's got the minerals and trace elements. which obviously, you know, we need. And salt it's a conductor. So the little synapses, it requires a salt medium in order to fire. So that 2-3 o'clock afternoon slump, grab yourself a glass of water, put a few grains of ORYX into it. And in fact, all of your water bottle, you really should be putting salt water in. But something that is incredible to do is take a glass water and create a saturated solution. So put enough salt in. So maybe if you go to Whole Foods and you grab yourself our refill box of, I think 3.52 ounces, but I'm not really in ounces and pounds, babe, because you guys really should be in kilograms and grams, because that's me.
Amen.
You guys. Literally pour enough in so that it's saturated, and then in your drinking water, start off with a teaspoon and put it in. So there's something slightly different about actually taking the saturated medium. You could put it into the sunshine, you can leave it out at full moon, and you can allow it to, you know, kind of get even more activated
Kind of
by the
structure the
elements.
water better.
Yeah, yeah.
Fascinating.
Mm.
But yeah, so no, I was shocked to find out that like even our car batteries have electrolytes in them, you know, and sodium is one of the bigger components to electrolytes, you know, because they need that energy spark, right? So those people with fatigue, adrenal fatigue, especially, they're exhausted, like you said. A lot of times it's because we're salt depleted, you know, the right kind of salt again. And people are slagging back this so much water, but it's not the bioavailable type of water. So it just goes right through us.
And it actually means that the body's got to compensate. So it's got to pull out minerals into the water so that it can absorb it back again. So, you know, creating a salty solution allows the body to just really optimize your hydration. And if you're interested, on our website, so ORYX, ORYX, desert salt, .com, we have a blog called Drink Less Water, Eat More Salt. And literally, as you put in more salt, put salt into your water, you find that you're not as thirsty. It quenches your thirst and hydrates you. So yeah, absolutely essential.
Oh, funny. I've never put that in my tea before, and I just did, and it's kind of this bitter green tea, and it softened the water. It made it, yeah, more
Yeah.
palatable and not as bitter. I was like, oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah, totally. The French always put salt over their lettuce to take out the bitterness. Ethiopians always put salt into their coffee because it also takes out the bitterness. So,
Ooh. I'm gonna have to add something new to my my bulletproof coffee in the morning. It's a little bit of salt, huh? Huh.
absolutely.
Fascinating. I'm learning something new every day. So tell us about your packaging, because right off the bat, I can tell, you know, it's glass. So yay. But I know that you even do something more that's better with the grinder, with the lid, you know. So tell us about all the, like I said, it's like you really thought of everything when it came up with this product. And again, that's why I love it so much. So tell us about the packaging.
Thank you. So yeah, it was just really important that this beautiful quality salt is packaged in the absolute best optimum. And just for me, that it's product integrity from source to your kitchen. So yeah, it was pretty much, we've been spearheading this grinder head, which has I don't want to put it over my keyboard. That little white mechanism in the middle is ceramic. So it is super rock hard. It won't ever wear out, which means that you just buy one grinder. And these are the refill boxes. So that's what you will kind of see on shelf. And the refill box refills the grinder 2.5 times. But I've had my grinder in my kitchen for guess what, how many years? For 7 years.
I was gonna say 7. How crazy.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You? Good of you. So can you imagine how many grinders, bottles and heads I've saved from throwing away because I just keep refilling? And in fact, I did a calculation last year where I just calculated all of the buckets, because we supply thousands of restaurants in South Africa, and all of the refills that our consumers purchase to refill, and then divided it by a 100-gram grinder, and I got 816,900 bottles that was saved from landfill or from
Well,
needing to be recycled. That is 12 20-foot containers that didn't end up basically. I think glass takes 1,000 years, or I don't know how many thousands of years. So honestly, it's your choice and your conscious choice of having the right salt, with a grinder. And every other grinder and shelf, if it doesn't have a ceramic mechanism, and I have seen recently that there's another company that's copied us, which is amazing because it means that we're not throwing more bottles into landfill, but we have been trailblazing this for 11 years, is that you're not grinding plastic into your food. So if you've got another grinder and it's got a plastic polycarb grinder head, every time, and I don't have one here with me, but this grind, it's quite smooth. And then if you grind a plastic one, it's cranky and glitchy, and that's because the salt is really abrasive, and so it's grinding the teeth away. And you'll find that at the beginning, when you first purchase a salt with a plastic head, that the grind is quite fine, but at the bottom of the bottle, the grind is very thick, and that's because the teeth have landed in your food and you've eaten them. So that, like, you don't have to avoid that, just buy the grinder with a ceramic mechanism. And then, just to let you know, just so that, because took me a very, very long time to share this, because it felt awkward and uncomfortable, and I didn't want to talk about other brands. But then I really got to a place where it's really important for you to know that it's my responsibility. If I'm not telling you, then I'm withholding information. But 90 to 95% of sea salt, any salt that's been sourced from the oceans, has got microplastic in it. And if you Google, like, salt and plastic, and you see how many articles come up. And then there's another thing. The cruise liners alone dump 1 billion tons of sewage into the oceans every year. And if you
oh my
think,
God.
I know, but you think 360 million Americans, how many of them do you reckon are only on only one prescription drug? Some people are
Oh,
on 10 or 20.
yeah.
Okay. Some of that we pee out, which we know, if any of you have ever taken Metal Blue and you've forgotten you've taken it, and you end up going to the toilet like an hour later, and suddenly you're like, your pee's turquoise. You're like, oh my God, what's going on? Did you have that at the biohacking conference? Because I
Yep.
did. And if you've had asparagus, also in a short while, kind of stinks. So you pee out a portion of what it is that we're consuming. And so if you're taking, in fact, I met a marine biologist at Dave Asprey's biohacking conference last year, and he creates a product out of oysters. He decided to test the oysters, and he discovered contraceptives and opioids. So oysters are the filters of the ocean, but that's what they're filtering. So for me, from a homeopathic perspective, from a frequency vibration perspective, the oceans, it's manky. It's had industrial chemical waste dumped into it. There was the Fukushima,
Oh,
nuclear thing that got dumped into the ocean, and the oceans are not, it's not like there was a wall going, okay, well, let's just stay in Japan, that's kind of leaked out. Whereas this comes from a source that is absolutely untouched, pristine, plastic free, and pollution free, and just really, like, it's a really high vibration frequency salt, which we've had tested. So and you can actually feel it. So yeah, all of you who are out there listening, thank you for joining us for this. But start using it, and I call this a guilt-free salt. So just, if you are craving salt, listen to your body. Your body has so much incredible intelligence. It's telling you that it's needing to hydrate, it's needing to come back into balance. And actually, there's this so this is one of our logos, ORYX Desert Salt. You can imagine the line running straight through the desert. So it would be two semicircles, right? So two semicircles inside the circle is the ancient alchemical symbol for salt. So they understood that salt creates perfect balance in the body. So if you're needing it, your body's asking for it, and please, yeah, do your bodies a favor and have your salt.
Your bodies and your brain. It's amazing what it can do for the brain. So I noticed that you got some other products back there too. Can you kind of touch upon what else you're putting out there right now?
Mm.
I don't do a
Oh,
whole lot of pepper,
you
my
don't.
pepper is still full, so
Okay.
I just don't
I
do a lot
don't.
of pepper.
No, I don't either, actually. But we have those of you who do love pepper, we have a really beautiful pepper from small scale farmers in Madagascar.
Ooh.
So everything that we do for me needs to make a difference. And there needs to be a, like a flow. So a percentage of sales go to the Kalahari, the first people of the Kalahari, because this region was actually where they used to, it was their land originally before us, like whiteys came and decided like, oh, this is a good idea. Let's hang out here. Um, and so plus my team, so I've now up to about 45 people in our warehouse, and they've just done a self-defense course because they all live in pretty like zinc houses in shanty towns, so they come from a very disempowered, disadvantaged community. Last year we did a beautiful love and logic parenting course. So I read Robin Sharma to them every week. We danced yesterday for like half an hour. So yeah, so everything just for me is about, making a difference. And I would really, actually really love your support. So I had a meeting with my Whole Foods buyer on Tuesday evening, only to be told that potentially she's going to be delisting us off Whole Foods shelves, which is deeply distressing, because it's become almost a third of our business. And it means that I need to employ 15, 20 people. And it's just because Celtic has had a huge wave over the last couple of years. And we're still, but Celtic salt's been around for 50 years. And I'm happy, like, I love the fact that there's diversity and there's choice. And we are niche, we desert salt. So still, people are still, it took a while for Himalayan salt to become a thing. And we just need more time for people to understand and to hear the story and to experience it. Actually, I urge you to do a taste test. So literally, grind some salt into your hand, make sure it's clean, and have a lick. And then grind whatever other salt you have in your kitchen, or take a sprinkle and taste it and taste the difference. And not only taste the difference, but notice what happens with your body. And I could give you a clue. I think I'm going to do that. But with ORYX, it's like, wow, yeah, that's salty. And then when you have other salt, and I've really tested this with all different brands, is that most people kind of go, ew. It's like their
Oh.
face is, and there's a little bit of a contraction, which for me is the body going, I'm not sure if I quite like that. So yeah, try it out for yourself and let us know.
Oh, that's
Uh,
fascinating. I know, and I know
mm.
that, yeah, you're gonna, at the shameless plug time of the show, you're gonna give us an Amazon link to get, and I'm not usually a fan of telling people to get things on Amazon, but I guess if we're trying to keep you on the shelves of Whole Foods, that makes sense.
And if you're at Whole Foods or you're close to Whole Foods, actually taking it off the shelf of Whole Foods. And if you're inclined and you love your mom and your sister and your brother and your bestie, please buy them a bottle of salt too, and you can share the story with them. And it's a lifestyle gift. You know that you're actually switching them onto something that is so essential for their health. So you know that, I mean, in any recipe, the smallest ingredient in every single recipe is the pinch of salt. But if you don't put that pinch of salt in, your meal is bland, right? So the smallest ingredient has the most impact in your recipe. And the salt that you choose for your health has that same impact on your health. So honestly, the stuff that runs freely, put it in your kitchen, underneath your kitchen sink. When you kick over your red wine on your carpet, you can pour that on, and try and absorb some of it. But really, for the, you know that 1,000 years ago, salt was worth its weight in gold. Why? Because it had so much value for our body. Not so much. It is essential for our survival. In fact, I read recently that there used to be a Chinese torture in days gone by, where they withheld salt from their victims, and after apparently 3 weeks, you cannot pick up the salt because we are electromagnetic frequency beings, and so we need this salt water, this medium, in order for the energy to run through us and to be able to be, to spark. So if you're not having enough salt, you're not giving your body the medium in which to fire and thrive.
Oh,
So try
yeah, absolutely. That's beautifully put. And what a way to end. So this is the shameless plug time of the show. So where can people, so other than Whole Foods, where else can people find you?
So on Amazon, and there's a lovely combo box. So you can either buy the salt and the refill together, or the pepper and the refill, or you could buy a set together. We do have bulk on our website, so you can buy a box of 6 units and 6 refills, if that's something that works for you. But for your very first one, you would be doing us a tremendous, tremendous service, to go grab your bottle and refill off Whole Foods shelf, please.
Absolutely. And
Thank
they make traveling size. Like I got laughed at when I was just in Mexico and I pulled out my travel size and I'm like, this is not salt. This is salt. Yep. How cute are they? I love it.
And these are available from all world market stores
Oh, okay.
across America. So you can now, and then you've got them in your bag, in your car, in your lunchbox, on your office desk, wherever you need them. You've always got your good quality salt with you.
Absolutely. Ooh, I forgot one thing before we sign off. Turn the bottle upside down. What's that about? Tell me about your secret hidden image in the logo. So what did you do that on purpose, or was that a happy accident?
Happy accident, entirely and completely random. But the coolest thing is, and I don't think I'm going to mention because it's really so. Yeah, please follow us on Instagram, ORYX Desert Salt. Remember, desert is 1 S, dessert is 2 S's because you definitely want more dessert. Please tell us what you see because it's really, really interesting.
What?
Like, people see different things,
What?
and especially between men and women. Men
What?
see something different than women. So yeah,
I'm gonna have to go check that out.
And then
I wonder what that would say, kind of like what do they call that? A Rorschach test, an ink blot test. I wonder what that says about me and what I see. Okay. Interesting. Your salt is so deep. Awesome. All right. Well, while you're at it, also to make sure to go wearenikki.com/podcast and enter in BioBeats to get 10% off. And because we love our customers so much, the way we show our appreciation is we give away a Nikki device plus a wellness set of frequencies, a $598 value on every show. So make sure to go to the show notes and get the links to the ORYX salt, and also make sure to go to the show notes to sign up to win. Good luck. Thank you for joining us, and have a healthy day.
Have a beautiful day.
The very first day that I wore the device, I slept through the night, which is amazing.
It looks like a little watch, but it's actually a frequency device. It's bioenergetic, so it has this little frequency light situation that goes into your arm, and it pretty much makes an immediate difference.
So there's like a sleep mode. When I go mountain biking, I throw it on an energy booster. Once I'm done mountain biking, I actually switch it to the other mode they have is pain and relief.
When I'm in a stressful situation and I put it on, it helps me almost immediately. I immediately feel calmer, whether that's a frequency or me knowing that it's working or knowing that it's helping in addition to that.
One of my buddies was like, do not discount this. This is an amazing device. You've got to give it a chance.
It's got so many options. I'm just going to go over, it's like a menu that you can choose. It's so easy to use. You just click on what you like. For example, it's got travel, pain relief, energy boost, allergies.
I really, really love this device. In fact, I have two of them because when one is charging, I want to wear the other because I'm never without it.
It will never give you something when your body doesn't need and it is not natural. That's what I love about the device.
Put it on focus, maybe halfway through the day as I was losing focus. And within about 10 minutes of turning on, I feel like my brain is just like, I'm connected. Like, wow.
Trying all the frequencies and I love it. The one I'm using right now out on my walk is Energy. It just energizes me. And I'm finding that I've got more stamina and more energy than I thought I would.
My Nikki helps me sleep better at night and helps me feel less stressed.
I really been enjoying it. So I've noticed my energy's been up. I've been sleeping better.
So the Nikki is one price, and then you pay for the frequency sets separately. So you can get the wellness one, which is awesome. I really do love the new Lime frequencies so much. It's incredible.
Nikki Wellness Technology. Delivering frequency enhanced health. We are Nikki.com. The views, information, and opinions expressed in this content are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of Freemedica. Freemedica Technologies, Inc. and its employees are not responsible, nor verifies accuracy any of the information contained in the following content. The primary purpose of this content is to educate and inform. This content does not constitute medical or other professional advice or services.